So imagine opening up a map of the world, right? But instead of like the familiar equator and the standard 7 continents we all know, the dead center of the globe is this massive inverted mountain.
Oh yeah, an inverted mountain that reaches roughly 670,000 miles straight up into the sky.
Right, and the entire Earth is shaped like this giant cosmic lotus flower. Oh, and it's guarded by a gargantuan blackberry tree that literally bleeds a river of immortality.
Which is definitely not something you see on Google Maps today.
Exactly. I mean, if you open your phone's GPS right now, you expect absolute clean precision. Just a little blue dot telling you exactly where your physical body is standing. But today, we are looking at a completely different kind of navigation.
We are unpacking a navigation of the cosmos, really. A geography where coordinates, they measure not just distance, but actual spiritual gravity.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're exploring this absolutely fascinating stack of texts, all detailing Jambudvipa.
Jambudvipa, yeah. The sacred geography of ancient India.
Right. And this is a map you will definitely not find in any modern atlas. Yet it has profoundly shaped the worldview of millions of people for millennia. So our goal today is to really understand how ancient Indian cosmologists map their universe.
And to really grasp Jambudvipa, we have to recognize that for the ancient mind, a map wasn't just a pragmatic tool to get from, point A to point B or one village to the next.
Because the word Dvipa in ancient Sanskrit cosmology, it translates to a landmass or a continent, right?
Yes, exactly. So when these texts detail Jambudvipa, they are ostensibly talking about the greater Indian landmass, which encompasses much of modern Asia, but they place it as the absolute focal point of this grand 7-continent cosmic diagram.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit because it requires a massive shift in how we think about space. Like, think about how we look at a map of Pangaea or Eurasia today.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Yeah, Jambudvipa is somewhat similar in that it's this massive sweeping continental grouping. But here's the catch.
Yeah.
It comes with this highly intricate, totally mythological architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this actually mean for the person reading this map?
Well, it means you are locating your soul, not just your physical body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's an architecture designed to explain why the world is the way it is and, what your specific duty is within it.
I want to start with the historical grounding here, actually, because when I first started reading our sources for this deep dive, I just assumed Jambudvipa was a purely theological concept,
Right.
Like a fairy tale realm, basically.
Right, like Atlantis or something.
Exactly. But I actually had to read the historical evidence twice because this was used as a hard, pragmatic political border.
Yeah.
We have actual carved-in stone proof going back over 2,000 years.
You're referring to Emperor Ashoka, I assume?
Yes, the Sasaram Minor Rock Edict, and that dates back to, roughly 250 BCE?
Yep, around there.
In this incredibly old, incredibly official state document,
Yep.
Emperor Ashoka refers to his vast, very real empire as Jambudvipasi.
And that terminology, it really had serious staying power. It wasn't just like a Mauryan Empire buzzword that faded away.
No, not at all.
You see this exact vocabulary surviving way into the medieval period. Like, there's a 10th century Canada inscription that still proudly refers to the region as Jambudvipa.
So we have a real historical empire using this name.
Yeah.
But the name itself, Jambudvipa, it literally translates to the continent or island of the jambu tree.
And the jambu tree is the Indian blackberry, or the jamun tree.
Right, but we are clearly not talking about standard agriculture here.
Yeah.
I mean, the sources describe this towering cosmic jambu tree dropping fruits the size of elephants.
Elephant-sized blackberries.
Yeah, and when they hit the ground, they burst, and the sheer volume of their juice creates an actual rushing river, the Madhvahini.
The ecological mechanics of this mythological river are, it's what I find so compelling about this whole thing.
It's so detailed.
It is. The lore states that the mud on the banks of this river mixes with the blackberry juice, and then it bakes in the sun and undergoes this crazy alchemical transformation into Jambunada gold.
Wait, so the mud turns into gold?
Exactly. And this specific divine gold is then used to forge the jewelry worn by enlightened beings. Plus, drinking the water of this river supposedly halts the aging process entirely and eliminates all sorrow.
Okay, here's where I have to push back a bit, though, Because we have Emperor Ashoka, right? A brilliant, super pragmatic military and political strategist.
Very true.
Why would a ruler like that adopt a mythological term about anti-aging blackberry rivers to define his actual physical geopolitical borders? Did they literally believe there was a tree out there generating golden mud?
Well, what's fascinating here is how ancient cultures synthesized their reality. They didn't really build a firewall between empirical geography and theology the way, the modern West does today.
Okay, that makes sense.
For a ruler like Ashoka, who governed this massive, wildly diverse subcontinent, you need a unifying concept. Jambudvipa wasn't just a plot of doot to them, it was a shared cultural understanding. So by claiming his empire was Jambudvipa, he was basically claiming a divine mandate.
He's telling his subjects, like, hey, we're living in the sacred center of the universe.
Precisely. And think about the symbolism of the Jambu tree itself, right? In a deeply agrarian society, what are your ultimate hopes?
Food, probably. Good harvests.
Exactly. Infinite nourishment, perfect health, unending resources. The golden mud and the disease-curing waters are psychological projections of a totally ideal world. It ties the physical land to the concept of ultimate spiritual perfection.
That makes perfect sense. It's a way of embedding the sacred right into the soil you walk on. But knowing that there is a giant gold-producing blackberry tree somewhere doesn't actually help you navigate the terrain.
No, it definitely doesn't help you find the next town.
Right. So where does this tree actually sit in the physical architecture of this cosmology?
So the ancient cosmologists viewed the world as a system of 7 concentric continents. But Jambudvipa is the anchor. It sits dead center in the universe.
Okay, dead center. Yeah.
And at the very heart of Jambudvipa is a region called Ilavrita. And right in the middle of Ilavrita stands Mount Meru, which is also known as Sumeru.
And the dimensions of Mount Meru described in the text are just staggering. They measure distance in this ancient unit called yojanas.
Right, yojanas.
And 1 yojana is roughly 8 miles. The texts state Mount Meru is 84,000 yojanas high.
Which is an incomprehensible number.
Yeah, if you do the math, that is over 670,000 miles straight up. To put that in perspective for you listening, the moon is about 238,000 miles from Earth. Mount Meru extends almost 3 times the distance to the moon.
It's just massive.
And it plunges another 16,000 yojanas underground.
It completely shatters our modern sense of planetary scale, doesn't it? And the geometry is even more unorthodox when you look closer.
Oh yeah, the shape is weird.
Very. The sources detail that Mount Meru is 32,000 yojanas wide at its peak, but only 16,000 yojanas wide at its base, so it's an inverted cone.
Right, the texts use the analogy of a cosmic lotus flower. So Meru is the giant central seed pod holding it all together, and the continents spread out like the petals.
A beautiful image, really.
It is, but structurally. I mean, an inverted cone that is twice as wide at the top as it is at the bottom is inherently totally unstable. It's super top-heavy. Why would ancient cosmologists design a universe that actively defies gravity and logic like that?
Because it isn't bound by physical gravity at all. It's bound by consciousness.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, a mountain that grows wider as it reaches toward the heavens is this powerful theological metaphor for the expansion of the mind as it approaches the divine.
That's actually really profound.
It is. However, the ancient texts did recognize the physical paradox of it, so they actually engineered a supporting architecture to deal with the top heaviness.
Right. They gave this 670,000 mile high mountain literal kickstands.
In a manner of speaking, yes, they did. The sources detail 4 massive surrounding mountains. You've got Mandara in the east, Gandhamadana in the south, Vipula in the west, and Suparshva in the north.
And these function as, like, divine pegs.
Exactly, structural anchors for Meru so it doesn't just topple over. And each of these anchor mountains hosts its own colossal tree acting as a terrestrial flag. There's a kadamba, a peepal, a banyan, and of course our giant jambu tree is one of them.
But the most dynamic part of this physical layout, I think, has to be the water system, the descent of the celestial Ganges.
Oh, the imagery there is incredible.
It really is. The texts describe this incredibly cinematic sequence where the Ganges River falls directly from the moon down onto Brahmaloka.
Which is the highest celestial realm of the creator deity, Brahma, that's situated right above Meru.
Okay, so it falls from the moon to this celestial realm.
And water, in this context, it isn't just H2O, It is pure, concentrated consciousness and creation energy.
It's super powerful.
Unbelievably powerful. If it were to hit the Earth all at once, it would completely overwhelm the physical plane. It would just destroy everything.
So it has to be distributed carefully.
Exactly.
So when the Ganges hits Brahmaloka, it splits into 4 distinct streams. The Sita, the Alaknanda, the Chakshu, and the Bhadra. and then these rivers flow outward to water the different quadrants of the world.
Right.
The Alaknanda, for example, flows south directly into Bharatavarsha, which is the Indian subcontinent.
And you just have to notice the perfect symmetry of all this. 4 anchor mountains, 4 divine rivers flowing in the 4 cardinal directions.
It's so neat and organized.
Yes, and in a world defined by chaotic weather, unpredictable harvests, and really harsh physical realities, this cosmological map offers an incredibly comforting vision.
Oh, I see. It brings order to the chaos.
Exactly. It asserts that at the highest level, the universe is perfectly balanced, systematically irrigated, and deeply, deeply intentional.
I really want you to visualize this right now. Instead of a flat, grid-lined map, the ancients visualized a 3D, towering lotus-shaped universe. A mountain stretching past the moon, shaped like an expanding chalice, anchored by 4 peaks, with literal rivers of divine energy cascading from the sky.
It is just breathtaking world building.
It really is. But an empty map isn't much use. Let's move from the physical topography to the actual inhabitants.
Yeah, because the spiritual organization of this map is where the philosophy really deepens.
Okay, so Jambudvipa is divided into 9 subregions, known as Varshas.
Yeah.
You have Bharata, which correlates to the Indian subcontinent, as well as regions like Kuru, Hiranmaya, Hari, and Kimpurusha.
And the sources provide this fascinating mythological bridge between this cosmic layout and the actual tectonic geography we know today.
Oh, right. The story with King Sagara's sons.
Yes. They recount a story where the sons of King Sagara essentially dig up the earth so extensively that they create 8 distinct sub-islands around Jambudvipa.
And this mythology is used to explain the existence of real physical places like Sinhala and Lanka.
Yeah, it's an ingenious way to weave observable, real-world geography into an ancient cosmic origin story. It totally grounds the myth in reality.
But what truly separates these 9 regions isn't just their topography, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is their spiritual demographics.
Correct. Every region has its own governing deity and a specific avatar of the god Vishnu that the inhabitants revere.
Right, like in the Kimpurusha region, the texts note that the deity Hanuman worships the avatar Rama.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the Hari region, the devotee Prahlad worships the half-lion, half-man avatar Narasimha.
So everyone has a patron.
Everyone has a patron. But
Yeah.
here's where it gets really interesting. I was looking at a key quote we pulled from the Brahma Purana, specifically chapter 18. This text draws a massive foundational philosophical line in the sand.
Oh, the Karma-bhumi distinction.
Yes, it designates Jambudvipa, and specifically the region of Bharata, as the Karma-bhumi.
The land of action.
Exactly. The land of action, of duty, of yajna, which is usually translated as sacrifice. Meanwhile, the text categorizes all those other beautifully described regions as Bhoga-bhumi.
The lands of enjoyment.
Right, so we have the land of action versus the land of enjoyment. Why make this hard distinction in the text?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the philosophical weight here is immense. Yajna, or sacrifice, isn't just about offering grain to a fire, It is the fundamental law of cosmic reciprocity.
Like you get what you give.
Basically, yeah. You give to the universe, and the universe gives back. Being designated as the Karma-bhumi implies that this specific geographic location is a land of consequence. It is a land of struggle, cause, and effect.
So it's not a promise of an easy life at all.
Quite the opposite, really. But because you can act, because you can perform duties, experience friction, and accrue karma, it is the only place in the cosmos where a soul can actually evolve.
Wow, the only place.
Yes, it is the singular location where ultimate spiritual liberation, or moksha, can be achieved, which breaks the endless cycle of rebirth.
I was trying to map this onto a modern concept while I was reading, and the best analogy I could come up with is the difference between going to a luxury spa and going to a really, really intense gym.
Oh, I like that. Let's follow that logic.
Okay, so the Bhoga-bhumis, the land's enjoyment, they are the spa. You go there, you get a massage, you sit in the sauna, there's absolutely zero stress.
Sounds nice.
It sounds great, but it is a purely consumptive experience. You are there to burn off the good karma you've accrued in past lives. But you aren't actually building any muscle at a spa. Your fundamental state isn't changing.
Right, you're just relaxing.
Exactly. But Bharata, the Karma-bhumi, is the gym. It's sweaty, it's exhausting, there is heavy resistance and friction. It requires intense discipline to be there.
Yeah.
But the gym is the only place where actual transformation happens.
That's a great way to put it.
You can't change your state of being in a paradise. You can only evolve in the land of action.
That is a remarkably accurate distillation of the Brahma Purana's theology, actually.
Oh, good?
Yeah, because the texts explicitly state that even the gods desire to be born in the Karma-bhumi.
Wait, really? Even the gods?
Yes, because while their celestial realms are infinitely pleasurable, they are spiritually static. The heavy lifting of the soul, so to speak, only happens here.
So we've laid out this incredibly complex, soaring cosmic map today. But the most mind-bending takeaway from our sources, I think, is that this isn't just a dead, ancient fantasy world.
Not at all.
Millions of people still actively use this map to navigate their lives every single day.
It is a profoundly living map. It's encoded directly into daily ritual. The spiritual geography of Jambudvipa didn't just fade into the background of history, it became the anchor for personal practice.
I was absolutely fascinated by the mechanics of the Sankalpa mantra.
Oh, yes.
Our sources highlight how this is used, particularly during a Durga Puja prayer. The Sankalpa is essentially a statement of intent before a ritual. Right?
Yes, that's right.
But when a practitioner begins, they don't just say their name and start praying. They have to literally drop a pin on the cosmic map.
They recite their exact spatial coordinates.
So cool.
The chant begins, Jambudvipa Farakande Aryavarte, which translates to, in the continent of Jambudvipa, in the region of Parata, in the area of Aryavarta.
So you are mathematically locating yourself relative to Mount Meru and the cosmic lotus.
Exactly.
But it goes even further than just physical space. The prayer also maps your coordinates in time.
And the scales we were talking about here are just dizzying.
Completely dizzying. The practitioner has to state the kalpa, which is an eon, fundamentally a day in the life of Brahma, lasting 4.32 billion human years.
Right.
Then they state the manvantara, which is a specific epoch within that kalpa. And finally, the Kali Yuga, the specific current age of the cycle we are living in right now.
It's the ultimate zoom out.
You are literally telling the universe, I am speaking to you from this exact millimeter of space, this exact millisecond of a multi-billion year cosmic clock. I mean, why is that level of precision necessary for a prayer?
Well, this raises an important question about human psychology. When you look up at the stars or ponder the billions of years of cosmic history, it is terrifyingly easy to feel totally insignificant.
Yeah, just an atom in the void.
Exactly. But by chanting the Sankalpa, the practitioner takes the massive, terrifying scale of the universe and shrinks it down to their exact physical location in that exact moment.
Wow.
It is a profound psychological grounding technique. It tells the individual, you matter, you are known, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be.
And it wasn't just individuals seeking that grounding either. It was entire empires.
Yes, the political aspect.
The texts, specifically the Vayu Purana, trace the political lineage of this map. They outline how the region of Harda got its name from King Farada.
Right.
But his lineage isn't just standard political history. It traces back through Kings Rishabha, Nabi, Ignidra, all the way back to Swayambhuva Manu, who is the very first human lawgiver of this cosmic cycle.
And that lineage serves a vital socio-political function. If your royal bloodline and the very name of your nation is inextricably tied to the architecture of the cosmos, then your civilization isn't an accident.
It's meant to be there.
It is divine law. Tracing your nation's history back to the center of the universe provides a totally unshakable foundation for societal stability.
It's the ultimate constitutional framework, really. It weaves the history, the daily prayers, the mountains, and the rivers all into one cohesive identity.
It really does.
And if you're listening to this and finding it hard to visualize all these inverted mountains and cosmic trees, you don't actually have to rely purely on your imagination.
No, you don't.
Our sources note that there is a literal physical manifestation of this map built today. In Hastinapur, Uttar Pradesh, there is a 250-foot geographical model of Jambudvipa.
A physical model you can walk through.
Yeah, you can physically walk through the cosmic lotus, past Mount Meru, and see the architecture of the ancient mind brought to life right in front of you.
Which stands as a really beautiful testament to the endurance of this worldview. For the ancient cosmologist and for the person chanting the Sankalpa this morning, geography is deeply purposeful.
It's not just rocks and berg.
No, it constantly reminds you that you are standing on sacred ground and you're tasked with a real spiritual duty.
Let's summarize the immense journey we've taken today. We started with the hard historical bedrock of Emperor Ashoka's rock inscriptions, using Jambudvipa to unite a diverse empire over 2 millennia ago.
Which was incredibly practical.
Very practical. But then we scaled the impossible, 670,000-mile heights of Mount Meru, and explored a universe designed not by gravity, but by the expansion of consciousness.
Supported by massive cosmic trees, of course.
Of course. We watched the celestial Ganges balance the Earth's energies, and we unpacked the brilliant philosophical divide between the heavenly spas of the Bhoga-bhumis and the ultimate spiritual gym, the Karma-bhumi.
A geography that provides an eternal framework for the soul to navigate its own evolution.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought to mull over. Today, we carry the entire mapped world in our pockets. Our smartphones give us GPS that is perfectly accurate down to the literal meter.
We always know exactly where we are.
We are physically never lost. But without a Karma-bhumi, without a cosmic center tying our physical location to a deeper spiritual purpose, does our hyper-accurate modern map actually leave us feeling a little more unmoored?
That's a great question.
We know exactly where we are, but do we know why we are there? Think about it. What is the center of your mental map?
Something to think about for sure.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep asking the big questions, keep looking at the world a little differently, and we will catch you on the next one.